You know why I'm more aggressive? Okay? Because as fans, you guys pay $375 a ticket every year. They're not asking you to sit on your ass and wait for 3 years of Howie Roseman's contract before the team is competitive for a Super Bowl. They're not asking you to sit and wait. They're raising ticket prices, and you know what? They got you by the short hairs because what's the line you guys fired back at me? Sills, we don't need a big-name quarterback in the Eagles. We'll always have 69,937 in the building. You're right. It's like sheep. Welcome aboard the National Football Show with your boy Big Sills. I know we want to start the show off with the great shot of Embiid and what that shot means. It reminded me, I was just telling Xander, it reminded me so much of the Kawhi Leonard shot that sent the 76ers home, and Embiid was distraught after that shot, and Kawhi would go on and win an NBA championship. Maybe it's going to be a little bit of insight that what could happen for this Sixer team if they put it all together. So, hey, man, we're going to get to that here in a minute. Guys, please hit the like button. I'm really going to need your help today. Okay? I'm really going to need your help today. I was informed by a member of the Philadelphia Eagles that I'm being too critical of Howie Roseman. I had a conversation with a gentleman I will not name because I don't want to make, I learned one thing. In one of my stops when I was in Tampa. By the way, I was there 15 years. I made everything I did on the air when I was at WDAE personal. I attacked the general manager. I attacked the owners. I attacked everybody on how they were doing, a job when it came to running that football team. Even though I got tremendous ratings, at the end of the day, when I made a critical mistake, it cost me my job. Even though I was the number one guy in the market, didn't matter. Oh, and by the way, guys, they're watching you. They're watching the show. The Eagles watch the show. Confirmation today. Congratulations. Thank you. You guys have now made it so you have a voice in a market that really doesn't have a voice. You guys now are in a platform where you can truly speak your opinion without having anyone filter it. Congratulations. You've made this happen. My first reaction was going to be an old Sileo reaction. You know what that was? Personal, angry, ego. But I'm not going to do that. That's not going to happen here. Because everything that I have said has been this. And I'm going to put it in context for you. The Philadelphia Eagles want to sit around and wait for draft choices to potentially prosper and to develop a football team where some teams go out in free agency and they're aggressive. The Eagles are not. And so they sit back with that mentality and think that they're going to sit back, even though the last 4 years, Pro Football Focus, with the comments that they have made and with their ranking, have said the Eagles have been the worst drafting team in the last 4 years. That's a fact. I always give you receipts when I have a criticism to make of somebody. I learned a lesson a long time ago. My wife's right. Hey, Dan, you're right. You're out of work. That's not where I want to be. That's not the space that I'm trying to create here. The Eagles listen to you. They're watching the show. The organization listed about 7 of our shows we did of us being critical of the general manager. And again, I'm not making anything personal here. So what I've done is I've put Howie Roseman's offseason together here and all the moves that he has made. Maybe I am being a little bit too critical. I'm going to ask you. You give me the letter grade. I actually was kind of shocked when we went back and forth in this conversation. First we went with text, and then we went back and forth on a phone conversation. And by the way, we ended it very well. I know my aunt's watching. She's like, oh my, no, we ended it very well. It's a high-ranking person in the Eagles, too. I understand his position. I understand his context. I had no problem with it. And my problem was, though, is that Kevin Colbert comes on, Tom Telesco comes on, Steve Keim has been on, Bruce Arians has been on, Frank Reich's been on, who worked in the organization, and they know exactly where I come from. I'm fair, but sometimes when I see something maybe that I disagree with, it's an opinion. It's what I do. So, okay, that's where we are. I was absolutely floored. So my whole day has been sitting here going back and forth with the Eagles. And one of their major criticisms was that I said that Howie Roseman hasn't done shit this offseason. Okay, we're going to examine that. By the way, please hit the like button. Larry Brown, as promised, will try to join us either at the bottom of this hour or maybe the 5:30. He's running around today, but we're going to try to get the former Sixer head coach, get his thoughts on the 3-0 lead now that Joel Embiid and the Sixers have with the Toronto Raptors. Also, 4:30, Mike Golick, former Eagle, will be on with us. Former ESPN legend will be with us. That'll be at 4:30. Richard says Howie is a joke. GM is awful. Philly, the truth stings sometimes. Look at Xander saying, it's confirmed. The Eagles have a problem with me being critical of them. Or, no. Me being critical of the GM. So, let's be as professional as we can here. I'm going to read you Howie Roseman's offseason. And you tell me what you think. Hassan Reddick, 3-year deal, $45 million, 30 in guarantees, 49.5 in incentives that he could potentially earn. They restructured the contract of Fletcher Cox from 18 to 14 million. They signed Zach Pascal to a 1-year, $1.5 million guaranteed deal. The trade. The Eagles traded the 16th pick, and the Eagles traded the 16th pick, 19th pick, 2022 6th round pick to the Saints for the 18th pick, the 2022 3rd round pick, a 2022 7th round pick, and a 2023 1st round pick, and 2024 2nd rounder. Basically, the Eagles got a number 1 in 23, and they've got a number 2. And they signed the hurdler, Devin Allen, who hasn't played ball since 2016. There's your offseason. Oh, and the 3-year contract that Howie Roseman was given. What's your grade? Dave says, okay, good. Davey Boy says Howie is building a team the right way. There's a lot of teams making desperate moves that won't win them a Super Bowl and will put them in a hole. I like what he's doing. Thank you, Davey. That's the other side of the conversation. Okay. Saints trade, gravy, A+. See what we do here? We go back and forth, and if you disagree or agree, This is not a show that we end up blowing you off the show here because you agree or disagree with the host. That's your radio stations in Philly. Smile. Another one. Convince Kelsey to return. Okay? Okay? That's another one. Kaiser White. Marcos, to be fair, I asked Tom Telesco about Kaiser White. They like him, but they didn't like him enough to keep him. Does it make sense? Davey Boy says, but I do agree with you that Howie needs to get Jalen some help if he's serious about keeping Jalen. A lot of people like the Saints trade. Xander liked the Saints trade. Hell, I like the Saints trade. You ended up getting another 1 and a 2. Makes sense. Makes sense. They're just not aggressive. And maybe that's my nature. I like organizations that are aggressive. You see, the Eagles don't have the track record of the Ravens, drafting the Jonathan Ogdens, the Ed Reeds, the Ray Lewises, the Suggses, bringing guys like Rod Woodson in. They don't have that pedigree, and they don't have that equity with me like the Ravens do. When the Ravens make a move in the offseason, that organization pretty much lands on the pod that they're hoping that player gives them in a return. Okay? And here, look at all the you and me wasted. You know, Davey Boy says something here. He goes, Sills, I like the way that they're not being desperate and the way that they're building the team for the future. Well, Davey, what's been the last 20 years? What happened from Super Bowl when they won it in 17? What happened to the team? It disintegrated. It wasn't built correctly. And why was that? Because they pushed their chips in on a draft where the general manager is not a very good talent evaluator. How many people have come on this program and said that besides me? He's not. And if you take that personal, look at all the times that they fail in the draft. There's an entire draft class that is not on the Eagle roster. You failed at the franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz. That's a failure. You cover it up by moving them, getting the money off the table, but you still failed at finding the franchise quarterback. And now you're telling us Jalen Hurts. They didn't like the fact that I didn't like Jalen. Big Pickens says grade incomplete. We have just dudes on the team. Davey Boy says last 20 years. Made the playoffs 16 times. 6 NFC championship game appearances. 2 Super Bowls. 1 Super Bowl win. Jerry Jones would sell his soul for that. Boy, if you look at it the way Davey Boy looks at it, he's right. You haven't been a contender. You haven't been a contender, though. In the last, how many? Let's see. That 20-year record is why he's still the general manager. Davey Boy, how's his offseason been? How's his offseason been, in your opinion? How many people believe that Howie Roseman's had a good offseason? Deebo Samuel is out there. Deshaun Watson was out there. Andrew Berry won the offseason, in my opinion. He's the general manager in the NFL's offseason. This is where I think you make championships. I disagree with Stephen Jones. You got to find talent. You have to draft talent. You have to develop talent. When is the last player, in your opinion, drafted-wise, that the Philadelphia Eagles have developed player talent-wise into a superstar all-pro? Okay? A skilled guy. Give me a skilled guy that they have developed in the last 20 years that they drafted. Can I have one? I'll wait. Give me one guy. One offensive player that you've had, that you've developed into an all-pro superstar player that you've drafted. Deshaun Jackson. When's the last time he played a ball game for you? And by the way, he's one-dimensional. Zach Ertz. Okay? I said skilled, Jesse. Center is an offensive line position. So let me see here. In the last 20 years, let me get a list here. Shady, Djax, Ertz, and who? Westbrook. Now, one of these guys are on the team right now, but it's okay. Okay? Shady, Djax, Ertz, Westbrook. In 20 years, you got 4 guys. Macklin? That's a superstar? Well, in Philly, he is. Shady, Djax, Ertz, and Westbrook. When's Westbrook's last season as an Eagle? What was Shady's? 16? Deshaun Jackson. Kind of a one-dimensional home run hitter. Not really a route runner. '09. Shady, Djax, Ertz, and Westbrook. Funny, no quarterbacks in there. And by the way, Andy Reid, in my opinion, had a lot to do with Donovan. Westbrook, I would think, too. And Deshaun Jackson. Howie wasn't the GM for Westbrook? Am I being too critical? Hassan Reddick, restructuring of Fletcher Cox, Zach Pascal, the hurdler, and a good trade. Am I being unfair? By the way, it was a bit, to me, I think this is more about you guys than me. I could be the Pied Piper in this, but I'm going to remain Big Sills here and keep my professionalism and not do anything where somebody would actually think that I would come on the air and I would absolutely, okay, I would absolutely come unglued. And what was the words that were used? Shock jock. Shock jock. I'm not doing that. I never have been a shock jock. So 0 points through the third quarter playoffs, and we added a hurdler and Pascal in offense. Xander says that's an F. Shock jock were some of the phrases used too. Again, and by the way, once again, I want everyone to know that because of our conversation and how it ended, I made sure I followed up. Xander, please confirm. I made sure I followed up. I kept all my messages and everything. Followed up and said, hey, Bob, I hated the way the conversation ended. I hated the way this and that. Please pass it on to people. Let everyone know it's all good. Don't worry about it. God bless you and the Eagles. He says, hey, man, it's all good. Don't worry, man. Hey, it's really great. Okay, I really appreciate you understanding my position and our position. I'm like, great, okay. No, man. I'm not airing nothing out. No way. Remain a professional at all times. Paul says, Sills, your assessment is dead on. Big Dan, I come here for your unfiltered athletic expert opinion. Hey, Pickin, my daughter said something to me years ago I want you to know. By the way, I can't wait to talk to Larry Brown. He's one of my favorite coaches of all time, and I can't wait to talk to Mike Golick. Hey, and my relationship with Nick Sirianni hasn't changed at all. Nick still wants to try to do it. It's not like he's not. He just wants us to get through some things. And I said I would be more than willing to do that. Absolutely. Wait a minute. Hang on here. Let me see here. Our gravy, no comment. Even if Xander goes on, the Eagles stopped me from commenting on Facebook during the Chip Gallery because I kept talking shit. Davey boy, you'd be shocked how many teams have gotten upset with me in my entire 33-year career. Everybody from the Oakland Athletics to the 49ers back in the day. I never thought about it. Maybe that's the connection. To the Buccaneers, to the Marlins, to my Hurricanes. Because I'm not a shock jock. If speaking the truth is shock, I've really come to understand what shock jock means, man. It's just telling the truth. It's really insane, man. It really is. By the way, yeah, you should have seen Xander. So Xander's going, oh, my God. It's confirmed. The Philadelphia Eagles watch your show every day. Yeah, okay. That means they're watching you right now. That means they're watching your show right now. Yes. Howard Stern's a shock jock. Yes. Anybody who puts themselves in blackface and has to talk about TNA all day, that's shock jock stuff. I don't do that. Okay? I don't have to do that, it seems. I guess I should take this as a merit badge. By the way, hey, anytime you put press releases out, I love the Krauses, man. Every time, you put a press release out, it always comes back. Big Pickin', I think it's good they're listening to you. Thank you. I do too. Just an opinion. Wow. All morning long we've been going through this. Look at Jeremiah. Don't F up, Howie. Stern is a snowflake now. Yeah, because what he's trying to do is change the narrative of who he is and what he is and how he built his millions on the backs of being a racist and talking and throwing the N-word out and talking crap on Jews and everyone else on the planet. Now, all of a sudden, he's a freedom fighter. Guy's a fraud, biggest fraud in radio now. That's why he's on Sirius, but he doesn't care anymore. Howard Stern doesn't care what I say either. Guy makes $100 million a year. He can do whatever he wants. When you got FU money like that, you got Elon Musk money, maybe, hey, Xander, I just realized now why Elon Musk follows me on Twitter. I just realized it. I didn't realize that I had that effect on people. Wow. I'm really thankful for the show growing the way it is now. This is the Eagles' favorite show, including their local radio shows in town. If you could take 7 of my shows that I've done for you guys and show me where I was critical of Howie, I saw him. Xander saw him. I was like, you had to go through effort. And can I tell you where I think that came from? I'm finding out more and more. A local radio station contacted the Eagles and told them, so I see that Sileo's getting Sirianni on. You might want to see, this is what he's been saying about Howie. So one of your local radio stations in town informed the Eagles, and then the Eagles started watching the show. I'm going to take a timeout. We may switch gears with Larry Brown. Hit the like button. I want to go over again the offseason of Howie Roseman and what he missed. Hit the like button. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.